Tuesday, October the 23rd to order. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Calling the roll, Mr. Germana.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron.
Here.
Ms. Conwell. Mr. Jones.
Somewhere.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Rogers.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Mr. Greenspan.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Brady.
Here.
Ms. Conley.
Here.
There is a quorum.
All right, will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For our moment of silence tonight, we would like to dedicate it in memory of Cuyahoga County Domestic Relations Judge Kathleen O'Malley, who passed away very suddenly this past week. Judge O'Malley became a judge in 1998 and was the first judge to champion mediation in custody and divorce cases. Prior to the bench, she served as a magistrate and a social worker. She touched many lives, both personally and professionally. Our thoughts and prayers are with her husband, Ray Gallucci, her brother, juvenile court judge Thomas O'Malley, and her mother, Colleen, and we offer our deepest sympathy. Item 5, has anyone signed in for public comment?
Madam President, no one has signed in to speak.
The minutes for the meeting of the whole of October the 9th and the minutes of the regular meeting have been circulated. If everyone has had an opportunity to review those, I'll entertain a motion to adopt them as circulated.
Madam President, I so move to approve the minutes.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any comments? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are adopted. I just have 3 brief announcements this evening. I'd like to congratulate Nikki Barnhill, who is now Nikki Mueller, who's come back from her honeymoon. Congratulations. And I also found out that since our last meeting, Melvin Davis has been married and also on his honeymoon, so congratulations to both of them. And then finally, one other historic event for today. Today is Councilman Chuck Germana's birthday. He is 39 today, and we are congratulating him on his birthday. All right. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam President. I really don't have official comments today, except I wanted to clarify that the honeymoons were separate.
Oh, that's
between
true.
Nikki and Melvin.
They're not married to each other.
No, and Chuck wasn't there either, I don't think. I just wanted to echo what you said about Judge O'Malley. I happen to know her pretty well, and she was somebody that she was a special person. She was kind of an adoptive mother for her nieces and nephews. She spent a lot of time with them, and my children knew her, and it was just a tragic thing. The family lost their father, Joseph O'Malley, about a year ago, and so the family's gone through a lot. So our thoughts are with the O'Malley family. That's it, Madam President. Thank you.
Also, I'd like to point out that the contracts executed by the county executive are attached to the agenda and also are available online. Item 9, consideration of resolutions of council for first reading adoption under suspension of the rule. This is a somewhat unusual item. Let's have the clerk read it, and then we'll ask for suspension of the rules. Or, no, I'm sorry. These are somewhat unusual items. I'm asking for suspension of the rules for the 3 items for item pursuant to Rule 12A and 9D. These 3 items are not financial or legislative in nature, but rather are statutory requirements that require nonprofit organizations seeking funding from the state to have the support of the county government. We have investigated these organizations and these projects, and they are beneficial to the county. We'll also hear from these agencies. So as a result, I'm asking for a suspension of the rules. Ms. Simon?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are suspended, so we can proceed with item 0223.
Resolution number 2012-0223, a resolution of support of an application for funding under the Clean Ohio Fund Green Space Conservation Program available through the Ohio Public Works Commission on behalf of the West Creek Preservation Committee for the conservation of ecologically significant areas along West Creek and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Moved by Mr. Rogers and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Is there someone from Clean Ohio? Someone from this program?
Yeah, West Creek.
You want to come before? You want to come up? And give us your name.
Yes, my name is Dave Lynchuk. I'm the Executive Director of West Creek Preservation Committee.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Did you hear?
Yes.
Dave Lynchuk, West Creek Preservation Committee.
Okay.
Okay. Appreciate you considering this resolution tonight. As was stated earlier, this is a new requirement of the Clean Ohio Conservation Fund application process to have support of the county government as well as, of course, the local governments. We're asking for support of our application to acquire properties adjacent to and along West Creek and the West Creek Reservation to protect natural areas, expand the West Creek Reservation, and improve water quality in West Creek. That's the first item here, and we are also supporting and in partnership with some of the other applications that are being turned into Clean Ohio as well.
Okay, any questions? Mr. Jimana?
If Mr. Lynchuk could explain why we're doing this under suspension.
Good
Suspension of the
question.
rules.
The application period was shortened this year, and applications are due at 4 o'clock this Friday at the Natural Resources Assistance Council, so time is of the essence for these.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jimana. Any other questions, comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
please add my name.
Okay, add Mr. Jimana's name. And Mr. Simon. And then procedurally, I assume we'll get the resolution to them so they can attach it to their application. All right, item 0224.
Resolution number 2012-0224, a resolution of support of an application for funding under the Clean Ohio Fund Green Space Conservation Program available through the Ohio Public Works Commission on behalf of the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District for the conservation of ecologically significant areas along Euclid Creek and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rogers and seconded by Mr. Jimana. Is there anyone here on this project? Want to come forward and give us your name, please?
Hello, my name is Claire Posius. I work for the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District, and I'm the Euclid Creek Watershed Coordinator. And we are putting together this application in coordination with West Creek Preservation Committee and the Euclid Creek Watershed Council to preserve two very pristine properties, one in Richmond Heights and one in Highland Heights. And they're both right on the upper part of the watershed, very sensitive tributaries and headwater streams to Euclid Creek. So these are two great opportunities to protect parcels with sensitive wetlands and very steep slopes in the watershed. So we appreciate your consideration of this resolution.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And item 0225.
Resolution number 2012-0225, a resolution of support of an application for funding under the Clean Ohio Fund Green Space Conservation Program available through the Ohio Public Works Commission on behalf of the Western Reserve Land Conservancy for the conservation of ecologically significant areas along the Sulphur Springs Headwaters Protection Project and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Mr. Germana. Is anyone here from Western Reserve Land Conservatory? Yes, come forward, please.
Hi, I'm Joe Leslie, Director of Acquisitions for Western Reserve Land Conservancy, and we are working on a project in Solon, Sulphur Springs Headwaters Phase 3. This is a project that includes 30 acres, fee simple acquisition. It is consistent with regional and watershed planning efforts, including Chagrin River Watershed Action Plan, County Green Space Plan, and the City of Solon Master Plan, where hopefully you'll consider it.
All right, any questions or comments?
Madam President? I'd like to add my name to this, and if I could also add the one to the Euclid Creek, and thank you very much for...
You want to go back to 24 and 25, Ms. Simon? Thank you. All right, any other questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 10, consideration of ordinance of council for first reading and referral to committee, item 0031.
Ordinance number 2012-0031, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2011-0020, which provided for complimentary parking for members of the public to attend regularly scheduled evening and committee meetings of the County Council at the Huntington Park Garage by removing restrictions regarding time of day and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
All right, this matter will be referred to the Public Works Committee, so if passed, it will allow for free parking for people who come to committee meetings, other meetings during the day. Item 0032.
Ordinance number 2012-0032, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2011-0008 as amended, which enacted the Cuyahoga County Code of Ethics and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
This matter will go to Rules and Ethics, and did you set a date already, Mr. Greenspan?
Next Tuesday at 1 p.m.
All right, item 11, consideration of an ordinance of council for third reading adoption, item 0011.
Ordinance number 2012-0011, an ordinance establishing a casino revenue fund for the purpose of collecting and expending proceeds from gross casino revenues, determining the uses for such proceeds and the timeframes for such uses.
Madam President, there's been a suggestion for a technical amendment that would be coming in from the county finance. I think Mr. Steen has made a suggestion. I think the technical amendment is being handed out to correct them.
Let's move it and then second, and then we'll make the amendment, okay? So you want to move to adopt?
I move to adopt a technical amendment that's been suggested by Mr. Steen.
Well, let's move to adopt the entire ordinance, and then we'll make the amendment. And second by Mr. Brady. All right, now let's go ahead with your amendment. Are you moving the amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, copies are being handed out.
And the change is to add change the language that says automatically, and the change would be transferred from the general fund, replacing the words directed and deposited.
All right, any questions, or Mr. Steen, you want to come up and tell us the intricacies of this?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. We just received the Auditor of State's bulletin, which describes proper accounting and reporting treatments for local governments. It was dated Friday. We received it today. And I'll read the one sentence that requires this amendment. There are no restrictions on the use of casino money. Therefore, it should be receipted into the general fund. And so to, I think, achieve what council wants to do with these dollars, we'll receipt it into the general fund and then immediately transfer it to the special revenue fund. So we're complying with the direction of the state auditor, and I think we're achieving what council wanted to do, which was to put the money into a separate fund.
All right, any other questions of Mr. Steen? Any discussions on this technical amendment? All right, all those, and you've moved this, is this been moved seconded?
Yeah.
Okay. No, wait, we moved and seconded the original item, so I think we have to move and second the amendment.
I thought we had that, but I thought I moved on the amendment.
No, you're moving on the
I
regular-
apologize, I was
original.
passing out the
You're
amendments.
moving on the
For-
original,
for-
and we got a second, so you're moving now the amendment. Is there a second, on the amendment? Seconded by Mr. Brady. All right, any discussion on the amendment? All right, all those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, the ordinance is so amended.
Madam Chair, who was the first and second on the original?
Mr. Brady.
Schroeder.
On both the original and the
Both
amendment.
of them? Thank you.
Madam President? I also have an amendment that's just been passed out. Are you ready to address that?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. I've put before everybody amendment to this ordinance, Section 5A, which in a nutshell will give the council an ability to come before council before 2015 with any project, any place in the county, still preserving the vision of the executive for a downtown district, still maintaining that as a priority. But in the event that something extraordinary comes up anywhere in the county, that this council, any member, can present something to council who would have the ultimate say. So it doesn't abrogate the intention of a downtown district. It just gives us flexibility, just as we're giving the executive flexibility to come back in 2013 to come before council.
Is there a second? Second. Who seconded? Mr. Rogers? So moved by Ms. Simon and seconded by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion on this?
Madam President, I'll comment on this. I agree in concept with the amendment itself. However, I would suggest, I'll be voting no on the amendment, not because I don't agree with it, but because I'd like this sent to the amendment itself, not the ordinance, sent to committee for discussion in committee.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said at the end.
Okay, the whole thing?
Yeah, no, I just didn't say, you just said that refer.
My recommendation would be that the amendment itself, not the ordinance, that we move on the ordinance itself today, but the amendment be discussed, sent into committee, and come out of economic development.
So you want to send this amendment to the?
That would be my recommendation. No, we can't, but I just wanted to state a position as to how I think this. I'm in favor of this concept. I just procedurally would like it to go through committee.
I mean, we have not done this before to send an amendment to.
No. The
committee.
author would have to send it, and if the author sends it to committee, if it does not pass today, I'll be glad to be a sponsor of the amendment, just not in this procedural form, that's all.
Okay, Madam Chair, President, if I can get clarity on what Councilman Greenspan is saying, is that you would co-sponsor this amendment, but you want it to be sent to committee for further discussion?
Correct.
But you're prepared to vote on the original ordinance tonight?
Correct.
Okay, I'll go with that, as long as the Chair of Economic Development would welcome us and his committee with this amendment.
It's certainly welcome, whatever the president does, to send things to committees. I don't make the determination, nor does Mr. Greenspan, so I will rely on that. Well, I think that certainly we had this come before the committee at the last meeting. Ms. Simon, you presented this exact same amendment, and it was defeated, and now you're bringing it up again. And I guess having just spent 2 hours listening to folks from the Convention and Visitors Center, and then listening to plans for malls A, B, and C, listening to plans about the public square and visions about all those things, that's why I believe that support for the vision of the county executive is appropriate. We certainly heard 2 hours of information as to how the need to support what's going on in the downtown area at this present time is going to be important. To take that away within less than a year, or basically a year from this point in time, seems to me to be myopic in a vision that says that we had a bunch of county mayors who came in here, and I know that that was one of your points of view, that you wanted to go into first-ring suburbs, but we heard this presentation from 3 different professionals about the need for downtown, and it just seems to me that after having spent the last 2 hours for this entire group, to then go out and want to change that constraint, it just seems to me to be counterproductive. And again, we voted on this just not less than a week and a half ago.
President, if I just may, in terms of being myopic, I believe it's being more expansive to give us flexibility. Council holds the purse strings in this new charter government, Mr. Chair. So, to characterize this as myopic, I think is disingenuous. It's actually expanding where these funds can go. So, and it doesn't defeat or abrogate the vision. It certainly does not. It just gives us flexibility in case, for some reason, a project downtown does not come to fruition within this time frame, and something else in the county does, perhaps council has not only the right but the duty to examine all projects that come before it. So we don't need to discuss it at length now. We'll send it to committee if the president so chooses. So I'm going to, I guess, take away my motion to move the amendment.
Second withdrawn.
Withdrawn.
Refer the amendment to the Economic Development Committee. All right, all those in favor of item 0011, which we've discussed for many months, we have to vote on the amendment. We did vote on the amendment. Yeah, vote on the amendment. Okay.
Madam-
Yes.
Madam Chair, I was just going to say, normally the way it would work is if there would be an ordinance amending, so if the ordinance passes today, you would have an ordinance amending the ordinance.
Okay.
Just sending the amendment, you'd have to draft an
Right,
ordinance.
right, okay. So it would be an amended ordinance if this amendment were to pass. Okay. All right, all those in favor of the amended ordinance with our technical amendment, item 0011, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Item 0011 is adopted. Congratulations, Mr. Schrein, Mr. Brady. All right, item 12, consideration of a resolution for first reading adoption under suspension of the rule. We need a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings and referral to committee. This is our biweekly budget item. Ms. Simon.
We suspend the rules.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Simon and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. Any discussion on suspending the rules? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are suspended as to 0226.
Resolution number 2012-0226, a resolution amending the 2012-2013 biennial operating budget for 2012 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts, and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Germana. I know that Mr. Miller had a number of questions. I think his questions were similar to mine, so I'll let him go ahead and pose his questions.
Madam President, first I would like to move a technical amendment, if
Okay.
I might. And the amendment has been distributed. It's a one-page sheet, and all it does is it changes one index code number. This was requested by Budget and Management, and ask for your approval of the amendment.
Yeah, it's been circulated. It's just it was a source code that was incorrect.
So,
No, it's not the summary report. It's, wait a minute, I got it. Okay. I got so many papers up here.
President, if I may, it's
Yeah.
on the resolution 226, it's section 2, item T. It's correcting the index code from JC 372056 to JC 370056.
Okay. Everybody got a problem with that?
move to amend.
All right, moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Germain. Any discussion on the amendment? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, ayes have it. The resolution is so amended.
Madam President?
Yes.
This resolution contains a number of significant and substantial changes. I reviewed them and asked a number of questions and received responses from the Director of Budget and Management and do recommend passage tonight. Some of the key items are, number one, an additional $140,000 in mandated municipal judicial costs. Two, an additional $300,000 for board and care of prisoners, in addition to the $180,000 that was added for this purpose in the mid-year budget review. Director Rubino projects that we will have to add an additional $500,000 for this purpose in the 2013 budget. Also, an additional $208,000 for risk and property management for prior year tax bills for the former Deaconess Hospital, which is now owned by Metro. More recent bills are still under appeal as to public property exemption, and an additional $138,761 for the airport subsidy. This is needed because the revenue for the airport has come in less than expected this year. There's a total of $1.3 million in additional general fund spending in this resolution. However, the county is expected to have a general fund operating surplus of $2.1 million this year, net of these changes, and so no additional reserves are required. So I recommend approval.
All right, any questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, item 13, consideration of resolution for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2012-0227, a resolution authorizing an assignment of leases from Cuyahoga County to the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities effective October 1st, 2012, in connection with various contracts with North Coast Community Homes Incorporated for the lease purchase of various properties for use as group homes for persons with developmental disabilities, authorizing the county executive to execute the assignment of leases and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the contract numbers and the locations and for the time periods as printed on the agenda, items 13A 1 through 52.
This matter will go to Public Works, and this is a list of the 52 group homes in the county that the county provides leases for. So anyone is interested in those particular items, it will be on for the Public Works Committee at their next meeting, but it is a rather exhaustive list if anyone's interested in the particular items. Item 0228.
Resolution number 2012-0228, a resolution amending the 2012-2013 biannual operating budget for 2012 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts, and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies related to year-end closeout activities, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter will go to the Finance Committee, and I believe that Mr. Miller already has several dates set up for consideration of these matters.
Madam President, there's one Finance Committee date set, and that's on Thursday, November 1st at 11 a.m.
Okay.
The date was changed from the usual Monday afternoon at the request of the Director of Budget and Management so that the county can focus on the bond rating process.
Okay, all right, so they'll be here on November the 1st. Item 0229.
Resolution number 2012-0229, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1200-211 with United Way of Greater Cleveland for food and allocation of funds for hunger centers serving needy residents in Cuyahoga County for the period April 1, 2012 through December 31, 2012, to extend the time period to December 31, 2013, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,095,450, and authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution.
This matter will go to Health and Human Services. Item 14, committee reports and consideration of resolution for second reading under suspension of the rules. We would need a motion to suspend the rule that we require the third reading. These matters have been to committee, have been voted out of committee, and there's no additional work to be on it. Ms. Simon?
We suspend the rule.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we suspend Rule 9D. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The rule is suspended. Item 0218.
Resolution number 2012-0218, a resolution making awards on requisition number 24243 to various providers for debt collection services for the Cuyahoga County Clerk of Courts for the period November 1, 2012 through October 31, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the revenue-generating agreements and all other documents consistent with said awards in this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective with the providers as printed on the agenda, items 14A, 1 and 2.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. This is the item that we've been working on for some time that will start the collection of court costs. So if there's folks out there that haven't paid your court costs, we're going to be coming after you. But we've been looking forward to this. It'll certainly increase the revenue for the county, and I'm looking forward to getting a good job done from NCO Financial Systems and Weltman Weinberg. We have two companies so that we'll be able to monitor the collections, so that we're not just relying on one company. And we're also working with the State Attorney General, who's in the process of collecting funds also, that we'll be getting money probably around income tax time for money that court costs are due. They'll be withdrawing it from your state income tax returns.
Madam President, are the two companies working in partnership?
No, they'll be getting, I think they're getting odd even. No, I think one's getting the first half of the alphabet and the other one's getting the second half of the alphabet. And this way we'll be able to monitor, if they're getting about the same amount, we're knowing they're doing a good job. If one's not collecting as much, we'll be able to monitor them.
Thank you.
And this NCO, they have done this for a number of years. They do it around the country, and also Weltman Weinberg, who specializes in this kind of thing. So they've both done these kind of government work before. We had presentations before them at the Public Works Committee.
Finance and Budget.
Right. Yeah. It was Finance and Budget Committee. Right.
Madam President?
Yes.
This legislation was heard in Finance and Budget Committee. Both vendors appeared before our committee. This legislation responds to an initiative that Council President Connolly and Councilman Gallagher have particularly provided leadership on regarding the collection of $64 million in uncollected court costs owed the county. There's no cost to the county. The vendors get to tack on 24% of the bill onto each of the items that they collect, and the county gets full payment on everything that's collected, and the 24% covers the vendor's fees. I would also recognize that in particular, Andrea Rocco from the executive staff and Trevor McAleer from our staff did a lot of work on putting this together. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion and questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0220.
Resolution number 2012-0220, resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1200-346 with Applewood Centers Incorporated for the Staff Secure Shelter Program and Placement Planning Day Report Services for the period June 1, 2012 through May 31, 2014, to decrease the time period to June 30, 2013, and for additional funds in the amount of $800,000, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Ms. Simon and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item?
Madam President, we heard this in the Justice Affairs Committee, and the funding for this comes from the State Reclaim Fund and will enable juveniles to spend time during the day outside of an institution while they're waiting for adjudication. So this comes from the state funds.
And I was really impressed with this program because it saves the county having the person stay overnight, but also they're staying in their own home and integrating back into their own community. So I think this is a really good program. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0221.
Resolution number 2012-0221, a resolution authorizing a grant agreement with City of Cleveland in the amount not to exceed $1,273,537 for implementation of the Emergency Solutions Grant Program for the period October 1, 2012 through December 31, 2013, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second. Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item?
Yes, Madam Chair. This resolution authorizes the county to accept $1.27 million from the City of Cleveland's Federal Emergency Solutions Grant to support homeless diversion and rapid rehousing activities, and the funding is 100% federal pass-through funds.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0222.
Resolution number 2012-0222, a resolution making awards on requisition number 24301 to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $2,401,782 for the Emergency Solutions Grant Program for the period October 1, 2012 through December 31, 2013, authorizing the county executive to execute the contracts and all other documents consistent with said awards and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the providers and in the amounts not to exceed, and for the services as printed on the agenda, items D1 through 5.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Miller. Any discussion on this item?
Yes, Madam Chair. This was also heard in the Health and Human Services Committee. These awards follow in part from the previous resolution we just passed, authorizing contracts with several providers of services related to diversion and rapid rehousing. All of these providers have an established track record offering services such as eviction assistance, mediation, rent, utility assistance, central intake, diversion, case management, and web-based housing information. A complete list of these services and numbers served has been provided to each of you, and the funding comes from City of Cleveland, County and State Emergency Solutions Grant Funds, and partially the Health and Human Services levy funds.
All right, any questions, discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 15, consideration of resolutions for third reading adoption. These are our bond issues, so Ms. Schmeitzer has a lot of reading to do, and we'll go through them one by one. Give this woman another glass of water.
After this, I'll need more than that. Okay. Resolution number 2012-0196, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $15,100,000 County of Cuyahoga, Ohio Economic Development Refunding Revenue Bonds, University School Project, in 2 or more series for the purpose of refunding the remaining outstanding principal amount of the $15,845,000 County of Cuyahoga, Ohio Economic Development Refunding Revenue Bonds, Series 2009, University School Project, which were issued to provide funds to assist University School in the refinancing of costs of a project within the meaning of Chapter 165, Ohio Revised Code. Authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement pertaining to the project and a trust indenture securing the payment of the bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of a bond purchase agreement, and authorizing the execution and delivery of certain other documents and actions in connection with the issuance of such bonds, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Mr. Germana. Any discussion on this item?
This was heard in economic development and reflection of some of the financing issues that are going to take place. I have a feeling this won't be the last. We might be seeing these kind of things as lease lines and letters of credit and things of that nature start to get some pressure. I think you might find some other programs like this taking place.
All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0201.
Resolution number 2012-0201, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds and a maximum aggregate principal amount of $39,721,000 to provide funds to pay costs of constructing, adding to, remodeling, renovating, rehabilitating, furnishing, equipping, and otherwise improving buildings, facilities, and structures for county offices and functions, and improving and equipping sites for such buildings, facilities, and structures, in each case together with all necessary necessary appurtenances and work incidental thereto, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Germain. Any discussion on this item?
Madam President,
Yes.
and my colleagues, this is the first of 12 resolutions for the county's first general obligation bond issue under the new government. These bonds will fund past projects such as the Juvenile Justice Center and the wind turbine project, future projects such as the jail kitchen and radio equipment for the sheriff's office, and ongoing projects including the airport improvements. We will also take over a portion of Highland Hills debt, which will save money for Highland Hills and create debt limit capacity for us. Total new money for the bonds will be just over $66 million. These resolutions will also include refunding of $47.6 million in prior bonds, enabling us to take advantage of current low interest rates. Generally, a savings of at least 3% is desired to do a debt refunding, but in this case, the savings seem likely to come in at about 8 to 10%. So I recommend approval of the resolutions.
Are any other discussion, questions?
Madam President, I'm sorry. Just to comment on this as well. Shortly, I'll be presenting legislation, working with Trevor McAleer and our fiscal officer for utilization of some of these unencumbered funds. And so just a word to council, it'll be coming probably before the end of the year.
All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. 0202.
Resolution number 2012-0202, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds and a maximum aggregate principal amount of $21,350,000 to provide funds to pay costs of constructing, adding to, remodeling, renovating, rehabilitating, furnishing, equipping, and otherwise improving county jail, correctional, and juvenile detention facilities and improving sites for those facilities, in each case together with all necessary appurtenances and work incidental thereto, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. 0203.
Resolution number 2012-0203, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds and a maximum aggregate principal amount of $1,205,000 to provide funds to pay costs of acquiring radios and other communications equipment, together with all necessary appurtenances for use in carrying out functions of the Sheriff's Department, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Schron. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2012-0204, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds and a maximum aggregate principal amount of $880,000 to provide funds to pay costs of improving the county fairgrounds by acquiring, constructing, and installing a wind turbine and related equipment to provide electric power to the fairgrounds, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Germana. Any discussion on this item? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2012-0205, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds and a maximum aggregate principal amount of $847,000 to provide funds to pay costs of reconstructing, resurfacing, and otherwise improving and equipping runways at the county airport, together with necessary appurtenances and work incidental thereto, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2012-0206, A resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds in a maximum aggregate principal amount of $36,925,000 to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the $36,925,000 of the county's outstanding county building and facilities bonds, Series 2004, that are stated to mature on December 1st in each of the years from 2015 through 2024, all of which were issued as a part of a consolidated issue of capital improvement bonds, Series 2004, dated as of September 15, 2004, to pay costs of acquiring, constructing, adding to, remodeling, renovating, rehabilitating, furnishing, equipping, and otherwise improving buildings, facilities, and structures for county offices and functions, and acquiring, improving, and equipping sites for such buildings, facilities, and structures, in each case together with all necessary appurtenances and work incidental thereto, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item?
Madam President,
Yes.
I move to amend, and the amendment starts on the second page of the item that on the front of it says summary sheet. And this amendment is requested by the Director of Budget and Management and gives the administration the flexibility to issue taxable as well as tax-exempt debt for the refunding issues involving properties that might be sold under the county's property consolidation. Since our intent is to sell all of the bonds as a single package, passing this amended version now rather than sending it back to committee will allow the administration to have nearly the whole month of November available to find the most opportune time for the bond sale. So I move for this amendment and ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Schron. Any further discussion or explanation? Anyone has questions regarding it? All right, all those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the resolution is so amended. Any discussion of the resolution on the merit, on the amended resolution? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0207.
Resolution number 2012-0207, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds in a maximum aggregate principal amount of $8,975,000 to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the $8,975,000 of the county's outstanding county correctional and detention facilities improvement bonds, Series 2004, that are stated to mature on December 1st in each of the years from 2015 through 2022, all of which were issued as a part of a consolidated issue of capital improvement bonds, Series 2004, dated as of September 15, 2004, to pay costs of acquiring, constructing, adding to, remodeling, renovating, rehabilitating, furnishing, equipping, and otherwise improving county jail, correctional, and juvenile detention facilities, and acquiring and improving sites for those facilities, in each case together with all necessary appurtenances and work incidental thereto, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Jones. All right, any discussions on this item? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2012-0208, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds in a maximum aggregate principal amount of $1,065,000 to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the $1,065,000 of the county's outstanding capital improvement bonds, Series 2004 Orange Place Extension Project, that are stated to mature on December 1st in each of the years from 2015 through 2024, all of which were issued as a part of a consolidated issue of capital improvement bonds, Series 2004, dated as of September 15, 2004, to provide funds to pay the county's portion of the cost of improving Orange Place in cooperation with the Village of Orange Village by grading, draining, curbing, paving, and constructing sidewalks, storm and sanitary sewers, and water lines, in each case together with the necessary appurtenances and work incidental thereto, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2012-0209, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds and a maximum aggregate principal amount of $440,000 to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the $440,000 of the county's outstanding sewer district improvement bonds, Series 2004, County Improvement Number 1460, Phase 1. That are stated to mature on December 1st in each of the years from 2015 through 2022, all of which were issued as a part of a consolidated issue of capital improvement bonds, Series 2004, dated as of September 15, 2004, to provide funds in anticipation of the collection of special assessments theretofore levied, to pay the property owner's portion of the cost of constructing County Improvement Number 1460, Phase 1, being water lines and 5 roads in County Sewer District Number 14 in Olmsted Township, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Wait, I'm not hearing. Who's over here? All right, did Mr. Rogers speak first? Jones moved to adopt, and who's second? Gallagher seconds. All right, any discussion on this item? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2012-0210, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds and a maximum aggregate principal amount of $90,000 to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the $90,000 of the county's outstanding sewer district improvement bonds, Series 2004, County Improvement Number 1460, Phase 2, that are stated to mature on December 1st in each of the years from 2015 through 2024, all of which were issued as a part of a consolidated issue of capital improvement bonds, Series 2004, dated as of September 15, 2004, to provide funds in anticipation of the collection of special assessments theretofore levied, to pay the property owner's portion of the cost of constructing County Improvement Number 1460, Phase 2, a 12-inch water line and appurtenances in Sharp Road from Sprague Road to Shady Road in County Sewer District Number 14 in Olmsted Township, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2012-0211, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds and a maximum aggregate principal amount of $110,000 to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the $110,000 of the county's outstanding sewer district improvement bonds, Series 2004, County Water Improvement Number 2300, that are stated to mature on December 1st in each of the years from 2015 through 2022, all of which were issued as a part of a consolidated issue of capital improvement bonds, Series 2004, dated as of September 15, 2004, to provide funds in anticipation of the collection of special assessments theretofore levied, to pay the property owner's portion of the cost of constructing County Water Improvement Number 2300 in County Sewer District Number 23 in Chagrin Falls Township, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Second.
Are moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion on this item? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2012-0213, a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of bonds in a maximum aggregate principal amount of $2,020,000 to provide funds for the county's contribution to the acquisition and equipping of the Village of Highland Hills Municipal Building and the renovation and construction and reconstruction of improvements thereto, including necessary appurtenances thereto, which building is to be used jointly by the village and the county as a community center for governmental and civic purposes in accordance with a cooperative agreement between the village and the county, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Moved by Mr. Rogers and seconded by Ms. Simon. Any discussion on this item? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Schmatzer. Item 16, consideration of ordinance for third reading adoption. These items have been on the agenda and have been to committee, and they are ready for approval this evening. Item 0025.
Ordinance number 2012-0025, an ordinance amending Section 6.12 of the county's Human Resources, Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual to make it mandatory for the county to use direct deposit for paying employees' compensation effective November 1st, 2012, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Miller. Any discussion on this item?
No, Madam Chair, we vetted it enough through committee.
This has been around a while. All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And all you county employees will now have direct deposits.
Ordinance number 2012-0029, an ordinance authorizing the renaming of the Division of Employment and Family Services, Cuyahoga Support Enforcement Agency, to Cuyahoga Job and Family Services, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Brady and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item?
Madam Chairman, it is what it is.
Okay. Any discussion, any other questions, discussions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, item 17, miscellaneous committee reports. Are there any, we can start down this end and go around. Any miscellaneous committee reports? Mr. Greenspan, Mr. Miller?
Madam President, Finance and Budget will meet at a special time on Thursday, November 1st at 11 a.m. to hear the year-end realignment process resolution that was referred today, and also for an additional hearing on the county-based business preference program. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, in case nobody got the memo, and I know sometimes the emails are going in more than in one direction at the same time, we will not be holding a Health and Human Services Committee meeting this Thursday afternoon in deference to the heavy workload in the morning, the special executive session that we're having.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Jones?
Madam President, the Public Works Contracting and Procurement Committee will not meet for the next 2 Thursdays. We have ceded our time to Budget and Finance and to the special meeting on our agenda. But we will meet that following Thursday, November 8th, to deal with the items referred today and to continue our discussion of the debarment legislation.
Anything else? Any miscellaneous business? Any public comment unrelated to the agenda? Is anyone signed in?
Madam President, no one has signed in.
Is there anything else for the good of the order? I would like to point out that on Thursday, October the 25th, there will be a special meeting. That special meeting will consist of an executive session to give council an update on certain property issues for the county. Our next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, November the 13th at 5 o'clock here in council chambers. If there's no other business before this council, we stand adjourned.